Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just wanted to say that the Discord is finally live. Link in the description if you want to join. Also, this video is from my first stream over on Twitch, so if you end up liking this, you might like my streams as well. Either way, I hope you enjoy. Fair. Yo, hey Schlatt. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chaos that you created. Oh, we're getting a bunch of people. Hello, everyone. I guess this is a good time. We were actually just about to look at the lore of some of my old videos, so I guess this is good timing. Nibble will be the last one we do. I think let's start with Christmas Story. I saw quite a few people talking about that. Hopefully this doesn't get me DMCA'd, but we'll see. Okay, so A Christmas Story. Now, let's go back to the year 2011, right? I'm young and using my parents' camera because I didn't have my own, and just using whatever bionicles I had on hand. Now, Christmas time is rolling around, and my thought is, shoot, I don't have enough allowance to spend money to get my dad a present this year. So my thought was, okay, well, what about instead of buying him something, I'll make him a video. The intro was either my first or second stop motion, and I still like it a lot. There's a lot that, like, I know as a child I was like, oh, this looks great, and I'm looking back on it and I'm like, oh, I could do a lot better. The whole idea behind it, right, is that, you know, it's like a battlefield, and this bionicle named Matoro is like doing flips through it. He preps and then he shoots a bullet into a wall, and it cracks the wall just right to form ToaLegend. Good times, right? Okay, so into the story. Ooh, I'll do some narration as we go. Matoro. Nice tree. Thanks, I made it myself. Hello, son. Okay, quick thing. This is not consistent with Bionicle lore whatsoever. I just want to point that out. Sidorak is not Vakama's father in the story, but I was like, they're both red. They're both... It works. Anyways. Oh, hi, Dad. Oh, this is for you. He hands him the present. Thank you, son. What? He got his dad a new spinner. What did you get your dad? And moment of realization. So this was like almost based off of a real life events. Good night, Grizz. Okay, so now we're at Brickmart, new setting. So if you've watched through this already, you know that the next like 30 seconds are just music. But at that point, I didn't know how to fade music in and out very well. So I just was like, well, I got music, I gotta play it. This just in, folks. YouTube will definitely demonetize me if I leave in the original music. Live to report on what happened on the stream is none other than ToaLegend himself. Over to you, Toa. Thanks, Toa. As you can see in this shot, Matoro seems to be filling his shopping cart with none other than building supplies. It looks like upon a brief moment of realization, he will need more building supplies, so he is demolishing the entire store using his Kordak blaster. The manager doesn't seem too happy about this. Let's see what Matoro does. It seems murder is on the docket for today. After a very classy shopping cart transition, it looks like Matoro is reaching for some bricks. He seems to be throwing them off screen. Perhaps he's building something that will be shown in a later reveal. After a long period of time, Matoro has now fallen asleep at his job. You can hear Silent Night playing in the background if we weren't being DMCA taken down. A new figure appears. It appears that this is Matoro's dad, Maxilos, not canon. Now we have a reveal of what Matoro was making. A Merry Christmas to his father. Very good. The transition to the Merry Christmas dad for ToaLegend's dad was immaculate. And as you can see, all of the credits were just the same, even as he lets the credit music play, even though he could have cut it off way sooner and spent less time on this video. Back to you, Toa. Oh, we can read the description too. This was dedicated to my dad. Merry Christmas. Apologies for the quality. I was testing out a new camera. Music. Never mind, just look in the video. It says the things needed. I apparently got lazy typing. It did absolutely get copyright claimed immediately and gave me a panic attack as a child. But good times. It was overall a very fun experience. How did I make my logo? My current logo? That's a good question. So, my logo's actually gone through a few iterations. First started out I was trying to find a logo for a long time. Initially, I only ever used just the ToaLegend text. Sometimes I'd write it in like the Bionicle like font. Later on, I decided to go with this. In Bionicle, there is a Matoran language, right? This is Matoran. So you've got all the letters. It's pretty, once you know the general pattern, it's easy to understand that like this is an A because the hole it's in the A hole. This is a B because that's where the holes are. C, etc., etc. It's pretty easy to understand. So at this point, you're like, okay, why did we go with an M if my username is ToaLegend? Good question. I don't know. It's had different meanings. And I think the meaning in my brain now is that at one point in Bionicle, they say you don't have to be a Toa to be a hero. So the M stands for Matoran, kind of like the everyman. You don't have to be a hero to be a hero, I guess, in that way. So anyways, I started with this symbol, essentially. Then somebody was like, yo, is that a baseball? And I was like, okay, we're gonna scrap that. So I ended up going with second version of the symbol, which was a hexagon. I decided hexagons were cool. We're going to stick with it. But I did the horizontal version of the hexagon like this. So now we're on iteration 3 for the most part of the logo. And the logo is a mix of a bunch of different things. This is the current iteration. Things that I like about it are now it's vertical. So the point is is actually at the top now, which I like a lot more. So we've got the logo, right? If you look here, it's got the T. And if you look here, it's got the L fitted into the M. This part right here is the tear shatter that I like to go with. This has like a longer story to it, I guess. Back when I was a kid, I remember kindergarten. So my mom was my own kindergarten teacher, by the way. And she, at one point in class, was like, okay, we're all going to draw flags and everybody's going to put their own symbol on it. And I sat there for about an hour and was trying to figure out what I wanted my symbol to be. And other people like came up with theirs immediately. And I'm sitting there in kindergarten and I've got this square in front of me. It's literally just, it's a blank canvas. It looks just like this. Except obviously not digital. And I've got colors in front of me. And the only thing that it has on it is it's got a pattern like this. Here was the space that we were supposed to put it on, because the idea was that we, in the middle here, we put our own symbols and then we stitch them all together, right? I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And for like an hour, I couldn't figure out. While everybody else was finishing up what they were doing, I had no idea. And I remember my mom came over and she's like, hey, you got to finish your thing. Like, why aren't you done? I was like, I don't know what I'm doing and I feel rushed and I was tired. Long story short, she's like, okay, I'm just going to get you new paper. We'll start from scratch. And she crumpled up what I was working on and threw it away. And I just cried. And she's like, oh no, what did I do? But in that moment, I was like, hey, wait, as a kid, I cried a lot. And I felt like that was the thing that set me apart as a kid. So the only thing I drew on my little thing was a teardrop. And that was my first ever logo. So now when I was working on my newer logos, I was like, well, what do I want to do for it? Like, I have the M, but it feels like it's not really enough. What can I add? So I went ahead and I added the tear again. Like I've always associated myself with the ice Bionicles, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go with, now that like I guess I've gotten more cold to things, and so as I progressed, it started with the liquid teardrop, and now it's a frozen drop. So here's what the outro is. It incorporates everything from my logo. It starts off with the I'm sorry if I'm getting like weird like artsy stuff, but when I was going through it, I wanted to make sure everything had meaning. So the water droplet that turns to ice is kind of like me maturing, right? Things happened here and there, and I felt like the ice made me colder to the world, right? And so the idea was, as the ice fell, it has this fog about it, and then at the bottom it shatters, and rather than just disappearing, it explodes out into this like haze, then my logo pops out. And the idea, I guess, was like, rather than my sadness being like my destruction, I guess, it was my fuel. It's a little dumb, but I still like it. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I really like Porter Robinson as a musician. That's the word. I'm so sorry. And so I wanted to incorporate Fresh Static Snow because I love the song Fresh Static Snow and I love the meaning behind it. So I was like, oh, I want to incorporate it, but obviously, like, I don't want to get DMCA'd. So I kind of messed with it. After I made this my outro, I was like, I don't want to disrespect Porter Robinson by finagling with his music. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, deep lore. Now that I'm finished with my tangent, I'm so sorry if I lost anybody or this was boring. Seems like a dumb question, but what is Bionicle? Yo, let me just expose you to Bionicle real quick. All right, it is getting late, so let's go ahead and watch Nibble. I don't want to keep you guys up too long. So get your nibbles in chat, and we'll go ahead and get it started. I love the bass in this part right here. The transitions. Can't believe I used those. It's so fun. Yeah, he falls over a lot, poor guy. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Give me one moment to sneeze. Okay, I have done my sneezing. So Nibble. Nibble was created for a mock contest, right? The idea behind this mock contest in particular is that every mock was supposed to represent a different amount of data. Bytes were very small, bits were tiny. You had gigabytes that were like huge, and then there were like some like extraordinary people that built these huge mocks that were like exobytes, and I think those are the ones that won. While everybody else was building their own version of bytes or their own version of megabytes or whatever, I was looking into what kind of data storage there was, and I was like, huh, what about nibbles? Nibbles are, for people that don't know, in computer science, nibbles are 4 bits. So where a byte is 8 bits, nibbles are 4 bits. Now, nibbles aren't really used nowadays. We normally work in like megabytes and gigabytes now. Nibbles are tiny, but when computers were really becoming a thing, anyways, Nibble was larger than the bytes, and I had enough pieces to make him feel like he was bigger, but not crazy. Anyways, all the other mocks were a lot better. I think he just ignored me for the contest. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how I got the jaw piece to fit with like the little hat and the eyeball. Yeah, so a lot of these pictures were just me experimenting with posing him. So you see in this picture, the knees are forward, whereas in this picture, the knees are backwards. The tail was less functional than I expected, but I really didn't have a lot of pieces for it. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Maybe I'll do a how-to on building your own nibble in case you guys want to have nibbles set up. Thank you guys again so much for all the follows and support. This has been the highlight of my week. You guys have a good night. I will try and get some more content out for you guys soon. Thank you again. I don't know how to end streams. All right. Bye, everyone.